my Winston Cup shirt on, circa 1994. All right, well, hey, look, here's the deal. I'm gonna cut the chase because people don't like it when I talk too much. All you guys say you want to see more cars. I've got a car for you today. It's a 1957 MGA. It's been on a couple of lives. We haven't done a full video on it. We've been slacking on videos, but not really on content. You just had to be there, sort of thing. But I'm gonna make sure you guys are there for this. So here she is. So we found this car. I sold a Lotus and I had an empty trailer. I was in the Northeast, saw this on Facebook Marketplace in Maryland and had to have it. It's a 1957 MGA 1500. That's a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder with a 4-speed, no overdrive. And originally it would have had a 430 rear end. I'm gonna go over all the modifications we've done to this because it's pretty extensive. So we installed a oil cooler and cut out this little postal box, little slot here, so that the oil cooler can get some fresh air. Looks like an intercooler, but it's not. And then the lines run behind the grill here. This grill is not factory to this car. This grill is off of a Mark II MGA, which has been in like a 62. Pretty pricey piece. I got this in a bundle deal when I got the hardtop, and I'm going to show you in a minute. In addition to that, the car's obviously been painted. This is the original color right here, called Trilolite Green. It's been since painted like some kind of emerald green on top. And then I've done the Derek Special, which is just sand that puppy back until it looks just primo in terms of ghetto-ness or roughness. So I'm going to pop the hood, and I'm going to show all the modifications we've done to the hood because it's a lot. So this car sat for 4 decades, and once I get to the back, you're gonna think, wow, this is a pretty cool car. So this is all factory stuff here. This is an MGA. Again, this is an MGA factory 4-cylinder. That was not on. Probably why it smelled like oil. Okay, so working right to left, these are factory SU carburetors. I've got some air cleaners on there. Those work great. Pretty nicely built stuff. They don't make them like that anymore. This is a Record radiator. It is original. Down there are new shocks on both sides. It's kind of got these Armstrong shocks deals. They're not traditional tube shocks. They kind of work like on a lever. It's pretty crazy. And then I've also got a new front seal, front timing cover that has a different kind of seal. It's off of MGB, so it has a lip seal around the crank instead of just a rope seal. It's much, much better to hold in oil. Then I've got this 7-blade fan here and this fan shroud. Can't tell if those are helping or not, but I want you guys to notice these right here. These are mister sprayers, and those are important to know for later. I'm going to show you how they all work and everything like that. I went ahead and upgraded to an alternator from the generator because I've got some major amperage going through this car. This is a fixture off of an MGB, kind of a late model one, so that I can run an oil cooler and have a filter that you can spin from the top. Pretty cool. The distributor is original, and it does still have points in it. They are new. This is a heater valve I replaced, and I've got it sealed shut. Did some do-wonkies up here to make the alternator work. I've got a clear fuel filter over there. Got the master cylinder. That's a weird one. That's a factory-style master cylinder that operates the clutch and brake. A lot of people think that's 2 brake pedals or something like that. That's not the case. One of those is a clutch, one of those is a brake. They both feed off the same reservoir. The brake is a single line system, so if you lose rear brakes or front brakes, you lose all brakes. Pretty dangerous. Gonna try and fix that down the road. As for now, it's not bad. It works pretty good. That master cylinder was given to me by a friend named Casey, so good on you, Casey. Appreciate you. They're pretty pricey. They're a couple $100. The wiper motor is behind it, and that guy was broken when I got the car. It was like grounding out and short-circuiting. Looked like some rats had been making a nest over there. I went ahead and took that out and just repaired some of the wires, and voila, it works. Pretty cool stuff there. I've got a solid state flasher, so that's nice. And then this is like a flasher box. It's not a flasher box, it's a turn signal box. I don't really know how it works, but I put a whole new wiring harness in this thing from Moss Motors, so it works like it should, but I don't know how that is. Down here, I've got new brakes. I've got I reused the drums because they were still pretty round. I put new shoes on it. I put new wheel cylinders on it, new brake hoses. I put new lower control arm bushings in it. I put new kingpin seals on it. The bushings, I put one new bushing in it. One new, I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, that's all good stuff down there. I've got new tie rods on it. Steer's great. These wheels are, 3 of them are used and from Facebook, and I told the guy how to pack them and send them to me, and then he screwed that up and put staples in the tires that they were shipped with, and then the staples were holding on the piece of the packing slip, and then the packing slip ripped off. It's a whole big thing, but UPS said because they were incorrectly packaged, that they wouldn't be covering, of course. I know that the guarantee or the insurance that you buy is worthless, but there's proof right there. So they screwed me on that. That's fine. I don't care. So I bought 3 used from this guy in Arkansas or Texas, I can't recall. And then I bought 1 because he lost it, or UPS lost it, and it was his fault. I don't remember. But anyways, I've got new wheels, and these are actually original knockoffs. They had wire wheels when I bought the car. I still have the wire wheels, but I went to these because wire wheels, you have to run tubes, and these you don't. And the reason I'm doing all these modifications is so that I can drive to California for Monterey Car Week, which is like the fancy la-ti-da car show. And I'm just gonna show up in like probably the most interesting car outside of some of the crazy Ferraris and Bugattis, but it's gonna be like the redneck, let your hair down sort of thing. And I kind of like that. So it's got really nice wheels on it. I like those wheels. Moving inside, we got a lot of stuff going on in here. This hardtop is a factory fiberglass hardtop, rare as hen's teeth, found it in Florida. It's super rough. Probably need to take it over to my painter, Mark Gomez, and let him go through it and make it all nice. But this is what I got, and I painted it with color match paint too. I had a spectrogram taken of this color, and they matched it. So kind of cool. I wish it was more rough. I probably will rough it up with some sandpaper and some green paint that I bought to make it look like the rest of the car. But hey, this is what we got. So inside, someone put this steering wheel on here, and that's really nice. Over there, I've got one of my favorite mods I do to all my cars, which is this single din Apple CarPlay thing. I'll put a link somewhere. You have to go find it. But that is an Apple CarPlay single din. Looks amazing. If anyone has old cars that have metal dashboards that are kind of flat and don't have a lot of curvaceous to it, it looks amazing when they're coupled with this. Of course, you've got the iPad mount right there, so I can watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever when I'm on my 2,500 mile drive. And then below that, you see right there, those are speakers out of a Jaguar XKRS GT that I bought off of eBay. And the reason I wanted those speakers is because they're Bowers and Wilkins speakers, but they came factory in Jaguars, and it was like a $12,000 option for that car. And I got these puppies for $400 for 8. And it sounds great. It's about as much as that little amplifier inside of the Apple CarPlay can put out. So I'm kind of limited on that. But if I get an amplifier, I can put another 4 channels on it, and it'll sound like surround sound. It's already amazing, like incredible. And of course, the cones are carbon Kevlar, woven Kevlar. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What else I got? I got the new dipper switch. Again, new wiring harness. I got this horn right here. I'm gonna let you guys hear that. Let me get up in here. Pretty cool. And then I've got this fuel gauge. This is how you turn the key. So the key is separate. You can hear the fuel pump. Let me set the parking brake. So you turn the key to on. You can hear it priming. It's taking a long time to prime. That's mildly concerning. But it's taking a long time to prime because I have a coil in the sump. I'm wondering if the coil is, I haven't got to the sump part yet. Still priming. Probably broken. That's great. Well, it's running. I wonder if nope, plates are not stuck. Okay, well, you guys are actually seeing me diagnose a breakdown right now. This is great. But anyways, the engine runs great. I'm gonna turn that off for now. So anyways, I've got this Apple CarPlay thing here. This is a fake speaker grill. This is the horn. This is how you start it. You put it in neutral, turn the key to on. Oh, now it's not priming. So that must mean it's primed. Okay, fixed. Hey, it fixed itself, guys. I'm telling you, these English cars fix themselves. Okay, so then you pull this one that says S for starter. Boom. And oil pressure comes up a little bit. And you can see that it's already been running. I just drove it like 20 miles. So I'll turn that off. I've got this super wild hardtop. I mean, it's super vintage and needs restoration, but it's here. And then I've got the iPad mount. I've got this rear view mirror that's sitting on top of the dash. This is a GPS sensor, so I can get accurate speed on my Apple CarPlay. I have the Momo steering wheel down there. I'll show you guys that. The doors are relatively stock, except that at some point someone put a chain instead of this pull cable. I mean, they normally have a pull cable that hides up inside the door panel, so that's wild. And then I guess it broke, so this guy got a piece of chain. I kind of like that, actually. And then, of course, it's got these bad boys, and they work like you just slide them. So that's how you have a window. And then working back from there, I've got seat belts. Those were not factory. And then this guy. I meant to paint this before this video, but here we are. So inside of this is a swamp cooler. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the term of a swamp cooler, but basically it works like this. You can kind of see in there. I've got ice in there, and normally it's a lot higher than that. And I do have one modification to make, but you can actually see this one goes farther down, and I'm going to show you underneath the car in a second. But I've got this super sweet fan, and it is so strong. This is it. It's really loud. And basically what it does is ice packs up in there, and then air travels through the ice and is sucked out into the cabin of the car. It works amazing. Let me show you underneath the car. Underneath the car, you've got this. That's an exhaust pipe. Okay, the one that says flat out all over it. Okay, this is the pump for the sprayer that I showed you earlier with the radiator. And that has a sump that's on the bottom right there. See that little nipple right there? So that drains into this pump, and the pump takes the melted ice from the cooler above and sprays it onto the front of the radiator. And I've already tested a little bit, and it does a at speed at like 75 miles an hour, you'll get a 20-degree drop after spraying. So when I'm driving across the desert to California from Atlanta, I will be able to keep my engine cool, which is really cool. No pun intended. And then this is a scoop that goes into the standoff pipe. I'll show you again inside. And wrapped around the standoff pipe is a coil that the fuel runs through, so I don't get boiling fuel or vapor lock. And then the last part is a drain. And then the last part is that holds ice as well. So let's look back in here again. So you can see in here the ice, and you can actually see the copper coil wrapped around that standoff. You can actually zoom in on that. It's got, can I zoom in? Oh yeah, I can. Okay. So that thing right there is a copper pipe that's wrapped around the standoff pipe. The standoff pipe has a bunch of holes in it, and that originally was going to be as big as the ice box was going to be, but it just has zero capacity. And in the cooler now, I'm able to fit 28 pounds of ice, 4 bags, which will be enough to last a couple hours. And I don't really want to drive this car more than a couple hours at a time. I want to check the oil. I want to get more gas because the fuel sending gauge is not that accurate. And by not accurate, I mean not that accurate. I mean not accurate at all. But anyways. Then in the trunk, to get in the trunk, you pull this little thing right here. And now we're in the trunk. And it's awesome. I mean, it's great. It's got a prop rod. And it goes right there. So I need to clean this thing out. But you can see that's the cooler. And again, oops, meant to paint that. You can see the back of the speakers for the back. And then, of course, the coolest part is that someone modified this car to have Corvette taillights out of a 58 to 60 Corvette. So I think that it looks so good. That's actually why I bought the car. I saw it on Facebook, and I just had to have it because it doesn't look like every other MGA. These bumpers are off of the front of a C2 Corvette. So whoever had this was really into Corvettes. And I just think it looks so good, and it runs really good. And I also changed the rear end ratio from a 430 to a 390. It kind of whines a little bit. I'm kind of concerned that might be the only thing that stops me from getting to California. But I don't know, maybe it'll last. So there you go. That's the car. It's got new rear brakes. It's got a 12-gallon gas tank, so it actually gets crazy gas mileage. It gets about 35 miles a gallon. And it's a 57. Don't understand how we went backwards, and in some cars still are not back to this. But, you know, it is a 1.5 liter, so maybe that's why. What do y'all think? I'd love to know. I made a poll that says, will it make it to California? And I want everyone that's watching to vote either yes or no. Will it make it? Haven't touched the engine, haven't touched the transmission, does shift okay. I did all the brakes, haven't touched the gas tank, and the fuel pump is original also. The fuel pump is it's a 57, now we're in 25 model year. This is actually a 68-year-old car.